Okay, perfect. Let me go ahead and share my screen and we can go ahead and get started. So first off, Happy New Year to everybody. So welcome back. Um, if this is your first time, we typically do these meetings at the end of the month. So the last week of every month on the Thursday. We've been pretty consistent with doing it at 9 a.m. Pacific time. But we have been, chatting about like opening up more times. And then in addition, this one is actually a reschedule of our December meeting. So we had a December 30th meeting, but of course it was kind of in the middle of the holidays and maybe not as many folks could have joined. So we moved it to this one. So we'll still have the one at the end of January. And we're also, of course, open to, if folks are open to having more. Something we discussed last time was actually increasing the cadence of these community meetings, whatnot. So with that, let's get started with the upcoming 1.9 Fluent Bit release. I think that's been something we've all been working hard towards. The idea is really to want to increase some of the core componentry that exists, also increase some of the metrics. So for example, including a new Nginx plugin, some potential other plugins. I believe like an output plugin for Apache Skywalking is there. And then also some other previews. And then last but not least is kind of just doing some more stuff around CI/CD and how we release and whatnot. I put this topic under my name, but actually I will ask if Eduardo, you have anything you want to say about Fluent 1.9 release or anything of that?
Well, actually, we are working pretty hard on trying to make this version out at the end of this month. But as you know, that's what we would love to, but we might face some delays also, you know how engineering works. But we're doing our best effort to try to have this version out. There are a couple of performance improvements, multi-line fixes, as Anurag said, a couple of connectors. And we're trying to finish up some features to make sure that they can make it in the code for 1.9. One of them is about improvements on how to configure Fluent Bit. I would like to share more details once that is ready, not before, because we can set the wrong expectations. Well, we will have a new statistics for the storage layer that we still needs to be unified with the internal metrics of Fluent Bit. So there's a couple, I would say, that is all about performance, better end user usability. Yeah, it's still a work in process. So we hope to have some preview images or information in about 2 weeks.
So it sounds like a good topic for a future meeting. Meeting number 8, which is actually, I think, right in 2 weeks. So cool. Okay. I think, Carlos, you added this topic here, how to handle CVE issues.
Yeah, that's because so far we don't have in place a procedure to do that. We don't have any guidelines on this in the Fluent Bit project, but we have seen that some users are actually reporting this. I put some samples in there. And there are also customers asking about the related CVE reports. For example, the log4j Java from a couple of weeks ago. So the idea is to discuss this, to see what we can get together to handle this.
Yeah. Do we have a security disclosure type of like a security.md in the repo today?
No, we don't.
We have it as an organization as FluentD, but not in Fluent Bit repo.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I'm pasting the link here on the chat.
Okay.
Oh no, we don't have we have a security file that says who you should write about the issues.
I see. I see. Okay. Maybe we do something similar for Fluent Bit, at least.
Yeah, I think that maybe we have a gap there with that, because I know that all of the security staff, so all of CNC project must have some guidelines how to report security issues,
Hmm.
right? So we might take a look at how Amboy is doing. Amboy has a really good governance on that area. And I'm trying to look for the Amboy project here. See. Okay, and yeah, now, for example, one of the problems with CV is that also, this is a side thing, right? So we are missing a process to report security issues and when to make the disclose about them. But also we have faced in the latest 2 years, there are many, I don't know what's the name, CVEs, hunters, people that try to find some bug in a very old version and try to file a CVE, because if they file a CVE, they get some kind of better status as a security person, right? So also we have to be very careful on what is really a CVE and what is not, what is a real security issue, right? So, but yeah, we're missing one piece, but we have to implement procedures to say, yeah, this is valid, this is not valid.
Okay. And so I think, yeah, as long as we put a process in place, then yeah, I think then review can be a secondary stage to it.
Which project did you just mention, Eduardo?
Yeah, I'm just pasting the link
Okay.
on the Zoom chat. Actually, this is a, if I'm not wrong, this is a stripped down version of the Kubernetes one. So we can take this and modify for our own needs without any problem.
Okay, nice. Okay, anything else on that topic, Lucaros, or do you think we?
No, I think that's a good start.
Okay.
Thank you for your inputs, guys.
Sweet.
Just fix the 2022.
2022, which one was that?
2022. Happy New Year. We are New Year. Just fix the
Oh, just go back to January last year. Yeah.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
We still use 21.
Yeah.
I was restarting 2021. Okay, cool. Let's go to Prabhakar. You have the throttling piece. Maybe you could do a quick intro and also talk a little bit about the use case there. That'd be great.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Myself, Prabhakar. I have total 10 years of IT experience, and my experience totally related to administrative part, like Oracle database, Elasticsearch, and along with Elasticsearch, I have experience with log forwarders like FileBit, MetricBit, and FluentD. And FluentBit I just started. Yeah, this is pretty much about me. And in my current organization, we are implementing the observability module. For that, we are using the FluentD. So in one of the application, right, it is generating huge number of messages within short period of time due to the ETL jobs. Okay, and currently we are using the FileBit, which is sending all the messages to Kafka without any throttling at a log forwarder side. So would like to implement FluentD. And I'm trying to find out what are the throttling options within the FluentD, but I was not able to figure it out the exact parameters. But I have some parameters which works with FluentBit, but those also working based on the message size messages, like some MB, 10 MB within some every 2 minutes, something like that. But I'm looking, is there any parameters which help me to mention, like every 30 seconds, it has to process only maybe 30K or 50K messages to the next layer.
Yeah. So I think there is a Fluent bit throttle filter. I'm not sure if there's a Fluent D one though, if others might
Yeah,
know.
I'm pasting the travel plugin filter that we have for Fluent Bit in the chat.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. I think that one works in the way that you want, like with a window of time, and there's a detailed explanation of how that works.
Yeah, I think this is for Fluent bit. I'm looking for Fluent D.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's one for Fluent D out of the box.
Yeah.
So,
Fluent bit, yeah, there are some these things I tested which are working fine in cloud-based solutions. We are using the Fluent bit, but in non-cloud we are using the Fluent D as a service. So that's where I'm looking. Is there anything that I could use?
Yeah, I just found a couple of them just looking on Google. The thing is that in the Fluent ecosystem, there's like 1,000 plugins. So it's hard to say which one will meet your requirements. But I think that I would suggest the same thing that I'm doing. Just look for Fluent D plugin throttle, and you will get some hits.
okay.
Actually, if you find that the one is really good, yeah, you can let us know the next meeting, or maybe we can work with some documentation for it.
Sure,
This
definitely.
is pretty cool. Okay. I know these were all the topics we had, but I know a lot of more folks joined. So anyone else have some topics for today?
If nobody mention, I can mention one thing.
Sure.
It's been great. Hey, Happy New Year, Anurag and Eduardo and
Yeah,
all the
Happy New Year.
rest. Okay. And yeah, what's the next release for a 1.8.x? What's the timeline? Okay. And this is something we want to know, curious.
Yeah, we are trying to, let me check. We are trying to have this maybe out this week.
Okay.
Are you interested in any specific fix that is coming on this release?
No, I'm not. I'm just checking. And specifically, I'm looking for. I think one of the things we're trying to do is the I see already merged. Is the synchronized communication part is merged. I think it's okay. I think I appreciate your work during the last weekend. I saw your notes. Okay, thank you, Eduardo. And we are just to make sure curious. Once you are done with the release, we can build similar things for our customers. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't understand what was the.
So once you release it, you are done.
Yeah.
Then we can build our AWS Fluent version based on the community release. Now we will be able to include that the long-term fix for the customers, and rather than our short-term fix we deliver to our customers before. That's something we are working on right now.
Oh, but you're talking about the fix that you are interested in is it's a multi-line one, right?
Yeah, no, synchronized communication timeout.
Synchronous communication.
Yeah, 4184. I think that's the one. It's okay. I think I know the number. Yeah, you merged it last week.
Yeah, would you please paste the number here in the chat, because I want to make sure that we have it on 1.8 branch. Otherwise, we might.
Okay. Give me a second.
Thanks. Oh, synchronous IO.
Yeah.
With timeouts.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. So the thing is, okay, this is where we get some, I had to talk, right? AWS asked us to not add intrusive changes on 1.8, but we're introducing this now. So do we introduce on 1.9 or do we backport it to 1.8? So if you have been testing this for a while and you said that it's fine.
I haven't tested yours yet. We want to test it, okay, in our environment. I think I mentioned to you, we want to test in high throughput, high load, ensure it is working before we are doing the release for the next one, or for AWS customers or other customers who are using in general, have the high throughput for the load testing. And I just got a meeting with another customer earlier today, talk about high throughput. Let's see Fluent get the health check failures intermittently on the 45 minutes load. But we will try to figure out whether this is a general issue or something wrong with our part. Okay, but we will keep you posted if we need your input. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Okay, cool. Anyone have other topics?
This is a meeting that this is the first time I'm joining this meeting and
Yeah, welcome.
joining the Slack community. I just have a general question. You do some meetings each month and everybody can raise questions or something? This is the target?
Exactly, yeah. So just some background. This is a meeting you can raise questions, basically anything. We sometimes try to share like how we're thinking of features or design. And it's meant to be a little more short form. We don't come to too many decisions in this meeting. We typically will take it into a GitHub issue or GitHub discussion. But you can raise anything here. It's really meant for the Fluent community. We try to schedule it the last week of every month. And in some cases, like what happened in November and December, it overlaps with some major holidays where folks will not be online. And so then we push it back. So in this case, this meeting specifically was from December 30th. We moved it to Jan 13th. And so the next one will be the last Thursday of January. We have in the past also discussed increasing the cadence of this meeting. So moving it from just a monthly meeting to every 2 weeks, but we'll lean on the community to see what folks what folks might want from content, guides, etc. Yeah, and that's a bit about what this meeting is.
Thank you. I'm raising questions in the Slack and they are answering me, and I will discuss with my team, and in case I have any questions, I will raise them next time.
Sure. Yeah, Slack is great for short form questions, just getting some immediate insights. This one, you can talk a bit about like development, the future of FluentBit, Fluenty, what you'd like to see, what is missing, things you're working on. So folks who might be working on plugins can share that. People who are working on distributions of FluentBit, all great topics to have. Awesome. Okay, I think Matt, I see a question here. Is this appropriate forum to ask about specific issues with implementation? Kind of things asked in Slack. I think in some cases, yeah, it's perfectly fine to raise it. Hey, I'm looking for guidance in this. I think that can help inform like content we create, blogs, and pieces like that. I'm going to open up. Let's see if I can open up the Slack without having it go to the browser. Maybe you could just copy and paste the Slack question here. Someone could point me to it. decoder fields. Field as. So bare strings, not mapping with the field. Is it, I can talk in general about decoders, and then we can look at the Slack again to as a potential way we can go action on this. The decoder fields basically are part of the Fluent bit parsers. So as you are parsing your incoming message streams or whatnot, many cases they'll include escaped characters, right? So you have quotations, etc. And in JSON, you don't want to mess up the structure of your JSON. So we have this decode field. And so the decoders, you run in your parsers, and these decoders will go and take a string, it will decode it. So it will look at the escape characters and say, hey, this is this field specifically has like a JSON nested within it that needs to be decoded. And so that's the intent, at least, of what this feature really is. And then want to unescape a field that it itself is just a string. I see. So kind of like enhancing this decode field as into a more generic thing versus just a JSON map. Yeah, I don't think that this decoder, then where you keep me honest, is set for that, but it doesn't seem like it would be too hard to do that, or is it hard to check the structure of the JSON as we do a decoder?
So the thing is, what is the source? Okay, this is the final message. So what is the source of your data? Is like a file. So you have in a file that message, and then you want to unscape it. Because if you have that raw message in a file, for example, what we're going to do by default is take that message and package it in a kind of binary JSON. We're going to put a key called log, L-O-G, and the value of the line that you just pasted as an example, right? Oh, you just want to unscape a specific field. Is the final message when? Okay, it's at the end of the pilot after log has been. I cannot see everything here.
Like unescape key before the
Key.
value.
I think we don't have that, right?
Yeah, I think it only applies to the entire thing. I mean, the one answer that I think probably try to avoid is everything could be done with Lua. But yeah, I don't know if that's the best solution there.
Yeah, we don't have a straight way to do it, I think.
Yeah, so nothing built in today, but probably.
So we have all the API, but we don't have that exposed as a feature to be consumed.
Would that be something you're interested in contributing, Matt?
I think it would be ideal if you can open a GitHub issue as like an enhancement request and explain your use case, right? This is my use case, this is why, and if people thumbs up, yeah, somebody will get it done.
So yeah, it sounds like you might be interested in contributing. So yeah, open the issue and yeah, I think that'll be good action from there. Okay, I think that's it for today. We had a lot of good topics, so we will meet again at the end of January, and we can look again at the FluentBit 1.9 release and share any other community updates. So yeah, thanks so much. Any last things before we drop off here?
Sorry, maybe I'm bringing up like the same topic over again.
No, all good.
But last time I was here, I was talking about this concept of buffering for Fluent bit. So we basically have these devices, they're running, sometimes they don't have network connectivity, and they're still logging in the process. And then when the network reconnects, you know, can I ensure that like Fluent bit is actually going to upload all of these logs? I started the discussion where Wesley responded, but it hadn't gained much traction. And I saw another discussion just now around like sending logs in batch. I appreciated like Eduardo's here today, so that I thought might as well ask again. But yeah, any thoughts, any maybe clarifying questions for me?
Yeah. Okay.
So the premise is you have a device, it's running, sometimes it doesn't have network. And so, you know, the buffer on Fluent bit can become really large if it's like multiple weeks of operations on the Linux host. And when you reestablish connection, you know, I'm not sure how Fluent bit would behave.
One quick question. We talk about, for example, this is like an edge device. It's like some kind of in a remote location. What kind of device it is? Like, what's an example?
So it's a Tegra. I don't know if you're familiar with NVIDIA's Tegra chips. So it's basically a Raspberry Pi running on in a hospital site, essentially. So on a customer's premises. Yeah. So now and again, like we might have like some firewall rule preventing us from like being able to stream logs, and then the IT team in a number of weeks or months actually addresses that issue. But in the meantime, the customer is using the device and we're collecting logs locally. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. So I think that right now is designed when you have, that would be considered like a network outage, right? And maybe what needs to be done is to specify unlimited retry of data delivery, but we are not monitoring once the service can connect to internet or not, right? The thing is that we try to flush the data, and if for some reason it fails, we reschedule a retry, right? It might happen a couple of seconds, after a minute, or so on. You can limit the number of retries. You can say when this will happen again. But actually, if you are offline for 2 weeks in a really small device, I'm worried that, yeah, your file system might feel sad, right? Because you cannot deliver the data too quickly. So we don't have like a special solution to detect once we are online again, right? But I don't see why this will not work for your use case. The way that we work, I don't know what is the challenge that you have, or you're just asking if it's possible.
The way I see it is that let's say I'm having a file that I'm tailing, and then I'm duplicating that same content in the buffer if I'm offline for an extended period of time. So let's say I'm tailing file A, and then I don't have network connectivity, and then everything is ending up in another file essentially where I'm storing the buffered messages undelivered. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think two things here. One is you can set a total storage limit size, so that way you don't use up all of the piece. And as soon as that total storage limit size gets hit, Fluent will automatically apply the back pressure and stop reading from the tail file. So it will say, okay, hey, I've hit my limit. I have my buffer is full. I'm gonna wait until this endpoint comes back online to resume. And the difference between the file and the chunks is the chunks are all transferred into message pack format. So they're ready to be delivered to that end system. So I think that this should be good. And I think all you have to do is add the retry unlimited. It will check every few seconds. I think there's also a max retry wait too now, Eduardo. So you can even add that. So you say every minute wait, so your exponential back off doesn't go to like infinite.
Yeah.
or something. So that
Yeah.
that's
And and you have to use file system storage, right?
yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So what will happen is you actually, if you use file system storage and you set a size for your queue, right? Because you don't have unlimited storage size. What will happen is when it fills up, it's going to delete the oldest chunk to make room for the new one.
Yeah.
Okay, so would that mean that I'm losing data or not really?
Yeah, if you have a limit, you don't have unlimited disk, right? You have a limit. Example, 2 gigabytes.
Yeah, obviously.
It fills up 2 gigabytes and you have to want to ingest more data. The oldest records from the last chunk, so for the oldest chunk will be deleted to make room for the new data.
Okay.
So you will lose data. Yeah, if you're offline 1 year, you will lose data, right?
Okay, because I was hoping that basically FluentBit could just have a cursor of some sort and it could say, I'm at this point in the file and no buffering is required because essentially the file on disk serves as its own buffer. I just need a pointer to say this is where I'm at. And then when I reconnect to the internet, FluentBit says I can start off at this line. But I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't want to take up too much of your time.
No, I get it. Okay, for that use case, maybe what you can take advantage is not from file system buffering, because file system buffering is designed for the worst case scenarios, like I cannot ship my data and I'm getting more data getting ingested, right? So, and my data, for example, files might be rotated. If it gets rotated, I just lost it. So what you can use is like a just memory buffer limit. So membuff limit, which is like a way to specify how much data you will hold in your queue in memory while FluentBit is running, right? And if the input plugin, for example, tail, imagine that it reads I don't know, 1 megabyte, and you have a limit of 1 megabyte in the queue, and you try to deliver that and it fails because you don't have connectivity, right? What will happen if you don't have file system enabled is going to pause or put standby the input plugin. And once it comes back again to a line that can ship the data, this data will be flashed and you will have that 1 megabyte available again. So FluentBit will read more content from the files.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that would solve it then. Yeah, so I actually maybe overcomplicated the problem with this. I don't need to use file system buffering here.
Yeah, you don't, but I think that looks like a good idea to, I never thought about the use case, but it would be a good idea to implement this kind of flag.
Pause with file system, yeah.
Yeah, instead of, so when my queue gets full, instead of delete the oldest chunk, just pause.
Yeah, just pause.
In the data. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it, I guess, you've been around, you've seen a lot of like logging use cases. I feel like this has to exist in the world, like deploying devices on premises and not always having access to connectivity. But it seems like I've spoken to a number of vendors because I have this issue on the backend side as well, like Datadog, for example, wouldn't ingest log files older than 18 hours, timestamped with 18 hours. And so I'm having to spin up an Elastic cluster that where I can index on the timestamp. Almost every service I've spoken to has like some sort of limit on like how old the timestamp can be for a particular log line. But I'm pretty sure that medical devices have existed for an extended period of time, and hospital networks have only gotten better over time.
Yeah. I'd say maybe we tackle that piece in the next meeting, and then I think in the discussion for sure. We can add the stuff we just chatted about.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, no, it's great discussion. Really cool use case, by the way. Okay, so I think let's go ahead and end there. I know we're a little over time too, so appreciate folks staying a little later. And yeah, let's chat in 2 weeks. I think this was great. It makes me feel like we need every 2 weeks instead of just the monthly. So I love it. All right, thanks all. Bye.
Okay, thanks everybody.